From Chandni chowk to China.
I'm going Chandni chowk to China. कटा नहीं।
From Chandni.
ये मालिक, ये चमत्कारी तवीज देख रहा है? इससे तेरी निकल पड़ेगी। ये फंग शस्त्र का बेजोड़ अस्त्र है तेरे लिए। सिर्फ जेब में कितने
हैं?
जेब में कितने?
चेक करना पड़ेगा। गणपति बापा, तुम आ गए हो, नूर आ गया है, बस।
Chowk to China.
तू पिछले जन्म में चीन का बहुत बड़ा बहादुर राजा था।
उस हूर की जरूरत।
From Chandni chowk to China.
तालू में गणेश जी विराजे दादा।
जाने कौन हूँ समझ आई ना।
और ये लोग सिंधी में क्या कह रहे? डाडो हो जो। शीतल कोमल निर्मल या चालू चुड़ैल चतुर। ये चीनी कैसे बन गई तू?
फ्रॉड है, बहुत बड़ा फ्रॉड।
दूर से जो जंगल हरा भरा लागत है ना, अंदर से उतना ही खतरनाक है।
दादा! दादा!
तेरे लिए सिर्फ
और ये लोग सिंधी में क्या कह रहे?
तू पिछले जन्म में चीन का बहुत बड़ा बहादुर राजा था।
कोमल निर्मल या चालू चुड़ैल चतुर। ये चीनी कैसे बन गई तू?
Chandni chowk to China.
Mithun Chakravarti. He provides a grounded emotional anchor as a Sindhu's adoptive father, but his screen time is limited. And major flaws: blotting routine time at nearly 160 minutes. The movie flags enthusiasm. The first half relief on receptive, loud comedy that quickly loses its charm. Tone clause: director Nikhil Advani struggles to merge identity, mistake comedy with serious martial art actions, and the sudden shift from goofy gags to melodramatic family drama feel jarring. Now we have to erase this. Major flaws: blotted routine time at nearly 160 minutes. The movie feels enthusiastic. The first half relies on receptive, loud comedy that quickly loses its charm. Tone clash: director Nikhil Advani struggle to merge identity, mistakes comedy with serious martial art actions, and the sudden shift from goofy gags to melodramatic family drama feels jarring. Weak script: the screenplay is predictable and filled with logical loopholes. The dialogue often resort to cheesy puns and outdated racial stereotype. Positives: action choreography. The action sequence designed by Vettering Hong choreographer Didi Koo are visually sharp and entertaining. Production value: the cinematography beautifully captures both the chaotic energy of old Delhi and the sweeping landscapes of China, including the Great Wall. Music, track lies, the title, song, and the suffer are catchy and energetic, even if they slow down the narrative pace. Now, guys, before moving on another, we have to erase this. Introduction and pre production. Slide 1. Slide 1. Heading Chandni Chowk to China. Subheading: a comprehensive analysis of Bollywood first major Kung Fu Masala crossover. Visual anchor: split layout, left side chaotic street of Old Delhi, right side the majestic Great Wall of China. Date release 2009. Director Nikhil Advani. Lead cast Akshay Kumar, Deepika Padukone, Gordon Liu. Speaker's note: good day everyone. Today we are dividing deep into a fascinating high stakes moment in modern India cinema. Chandni Chowk to China, released in 2009, represent more than just an action comedy. It was a massive heroic experiment, a literal and figurative bridge built between the vibrant emotional world of Bollywood masala and the discipline, high flying world of Hong Kong martial arts cinema. Over the next 60 slides, we will dissect how this film was conceived, its narrative structure, its technical execution, and ultimately why its ambiguous goals didn't fully resonate with global audience, guys. Now we have to erase this. Second slide, slide heading executive summary. Key takes are the paradigm shift, the first major Indian film co-production and distributed globally by a mainstream Hollywood studio, Warner Bros. A creative hybrid attempt to blend traditional Indian tropes, lost and found, family, destiny, slapsticks with authentic Chinese wuxia action elements. The analytic focus: this presentation tracks the film from its pre-production route to its narrative execution, technical milestones, and the box office legacy. Speaker notes: let us begin with the executive summary. Why does this film warrant a 60 slide analysis? Because it's a as a case study in a globalized filmmaking. It wasn't just an Indian movie shoot abroad. It was an international collaboration aimed at capturing both Eastern and Western market simultaneously. We will look at how it attempted to merge two wildly different cinematic vocabularies, the song and dance melodrama of Mumbai and the precise choreography of Hong Kong, and evaluate its structural successes and failures. Now we should have to raise this. Slide 3, the visionary concept. Slide: the visionary concept, culture fusion, marrying the chaotic energy of Delhi oldest marketplace with ancient Chinese folklore. The hero's journey variant, the classical underdog story where a common street cook is thrust into international geopolitics and martial art density. Destiny, The commercial hook, utilizing Akshay Kumar's real-life martial art background, create an authentic yet mainstream Indian action hero. Speaker note: the core visionary concept behind the film was pure cinematic synthesis. The creator asked the fundamental questions: what happens if you take a loud, superstitious street vendor from the heart of Old Delhi and drop him into classical kung fu movie? It was designed to exploit the global popularity of martial art while maintaining the emotional hook like parental respect and divine intervention that Indian audience demand. It aimed to be true genre-bending epic. Fourth slide. The Heroistical Contest 2009. Heroistical Contest Bollywood in 2009. Market environment. Action cinema sensation. The late 2000 Bollywood scene was heavily dominated by romantic comedies and urban dramas. The global expansion era. Indian studios were actively looking for ways to expand their footprint beyond the South Asian diaspora. The star system. Akshay Kumar was the absolute peak of his comedic box office run, hot of consecutive hits like Sing is King, Welcome. To understand why this movie was greenlit, we must look at the year 2009. Bollywood action cinema was in a transitional phase. The raw gritty actions of 90s had faded and the slick South Indian inspired actions wave hadn't fully taken over yet. Comedy driven blockbusters were king. Producers realized that combining India's top comedy star Akshay Kumar with international canvas was the ultimate formula and breathe into global theatrical market. Now we are on a fifth slide. The Warner Bros. Alliance. The Warner Bros. Alliance, the first to its kind, marketing the first time major Hollywood studio fully backed a mainstream Hindi language feature film. The distribution engine intended to give the film unprecedented theatrical real estate across North America, Europe, Asia. Corporate Energy. Hollywood provide capital and global marketing infrastructure. Bollywood provide the talent, music, localized storytelling. Slide 5 highlighting the most crucial business aspects of this film. The Warner Bros. Alliance. This wasn't just a distribution deal signed after the movie was made. Warner Bros. Was involved early on, being this as their golden ticket into the massive Indian domestic market for Bollywood. It meant access to Hollywood level budget, professional project management, and a massive global release strategy that no independent Indian studio could achieve alone at the time. Sixth slide. Nikhil Advani. Director Nikhil Advani's transaction, the Romance Legacy, known primarily for directing The mega hit emotional romance Kal Ho Na Ho, the ensemble drama Salaam Ishq 2007, creative leap transitioning from intimate dialogue heavy emotional dramas to massive multinational action pieces. The directorial challenge is balancing a narrative that require high octane visual effect, physical slapstick, intense stunt choreography. Speaker note: Director Nikhil Advani was an interesting choice for this project, having cut his teeth under Karan Johar. Advani was a master of emotional, glossy, family-centric cinema, shifting from tears and romance to flying kicks and martial arts was a massive creative leap. The transition explains a lot about the film's financial structure. Advani heavily prioritizing the emotional family subpoint, sometimes the expenses of the actions pacing. Now we are coming on a seventh slide. Screenplay Genesis. Sliding screenplay Genesis framework. The writer penned by Sridhar Raghavan, known for sophisticated thrillers like Ek Hasina Thi. The narrative hook, rooted in the classic identity mistake trope, a reincarnation myth used to bridge two vastly different cultures. Structural goals: writing a script that allowed for sudden transition from the narrow lens of the Hollywood to wide screen martial art academies in rural China. The screenplay has written by Sridhar Raghavan. Raghavan wanted to craft a story that felt like a homage to 1970s Manmohan Desai film Think Amar Akbar Anthony, where absurd coincidence derived the plot. By using a reincarnation trope, he found a clever way to force an ordinary Indian man into centuries-old Chinese blood feud. The script was designed to balance rapid free-fire Hindi dialogue with visual comedy that non-Hindi speaker could easily understand. Casting Sindhu. The perfect fit. Actor Akshay Kumar trained heavily in a Muay Thai in Bangkok before his acting career, making him unqualified. The comic timing possessed the exact blend of physical, expressive slapstick needed to play a clueless, lazy vegetable cutter. Star equity: his name alone guaranteed a massive opening weekend across India, international territories. Speaker note: casting the lead character Sindhu was no brainer. Akshay Kumar was the only actor in Bollywood who could genuinely pull this off. Long before he was a movie star, he lived in Asia working as a chief and studying martial art. He possessed the legitimate physical capability to perform complex wire work and stunts without a double, combined with the highly lucrative mass market comedic appeal. The double role challenge. Actor focus: Deepika Padukone, dual archetypes cast as both Sakni, the wholesome traditional Indian woman, and the Suzy Mio, the deadly leather-clad Chinese Asians. The physical preparations required intense physical training to handle swords, wires, and hand-to-hand combat scenes. Visual contrast: used as a stark visual metaphor for the film's dual nature, one half deeply rooted in Indian sentiment, the other in East Asian actions. Speaker notes for the female lead, the production cast is relatively new. Deepika Padukone in demanding double role. This was early in her career, yet she was tasked with playing two completely different characters. Sakni, a girl looking for her roots, Susie, a brainwashed assassin worker working for the villain. Padukone's athletic background as a badminton player helped her immensely, adapting to the intense stunt choreography demand for her darker alter ego. International star power. International star power. Gordon Leo, Rodger Yuan. Casting Gordon Leo, iconic star, the 36th Chamber of Shailene and Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill as the main villain Huzo. Casting Roger Yuan, a renowned Hollywood stunt coordinator and actor, and to play the tragic master inspector Xiang. Global credibility. These casting choice single to martial art persisted that the film fighting element were being handled with respect. To round out Act 1, let's look the international casting choice by bringing in Gordon Liu to play ruthless villain Huzo. The producer were just hiring an actor. They were paying homage to golden era of Shaw Brothers Kung Fu cinema alongside Roger Yuan. These actors gave the film legitimate martial art credibility, ensuring that when the movie shifted into its action sequences, it looked and felt like an authentic global product. Guys, this is not a full movie channel, this is only a movie review channel. If you want to see the whole movie, then you can go with Netflix and other movie apps where the movie will release by the box office. Character and narrative setup, slide 11 to 20. Act driver, divider slide, Act 2. Character portfolios and the Delhi narrative, establishing the root of the protagonist and the catalyst for change. High contrast graphic dividing the chaotic warm tone lens of Chandni chalk from the cold sleek architecture of urban China. Section core themes, socio-economic desperations in urban India, the psychological reliance of luck and superstition, the mechanics of inciting incident and deceptive requirement. Moving into Act 2, our presentation shifts its focus from behind the scenes corporate strategy to the actual text of film. Slide 11 through 20 break down the character dynamic narrative setup established during the movie first 45 minutes. This section is vital because it established the domestic baseline of our hero before the undergoes his radical cross-culture transformation. We will examine how the film used the specific setting of Old Delhi to its ground a highly absurd premise in relatable human motivation. Now guys, moving on with another movie channel, we have to erase this. Sindhu's psychology. The psychology of Sindhu character में the coping mechanism, escaping through extreme superstition, reliance on local astrologer and lottery tickets. The occupational reality, the low income skilled vegetable cutter who views his daily labor as a death and core rather than a craft. The fatal flaw, the total lack of personal accountability, a deep-seated belief that success must come from external luck rather than internal hard work. And now, speaker note, let us analyze Sindhu's psychological makeup. At the start of the narrative, he is not a traditional noble hero. He is a lazy, deeply superstitious, and thoroughly desperate to escape his economic reality without putting in the physical effort. He spent his days cutting vegetables but keep his eyes glued to astrology, chart, lucky charms. This character flows is essential for the narrative arc. His journey to China is less about learning how to fight and more about learning how to take responsibility for his own destiny. Now we are moving on another next slide. Dada's philosophy. Dada's philosophy and the emotional anchor. Mithun Chakravarti plays Dada's Sindhu's adoptive father and a local roadside food stall owner. Rigid belief in the dignity of labor, honest work, and self-reliance are superstition. Serves as the film moral compass. His constant reprimanding of Sindhu set up the emotional guilt that drives the later act. Slide 13 introduced Dada, portrayed by veteran actor Mithun Chakravarti. Dada represents traditional hard work, working class virtues. He stands in a direction opposition to Sindhu's lazy scheme. His signature phrase emphasizes that sweet hard work are the only true path to success. From a structural standpoint, Dada serves as the emotional anchor of the film. Without his grounded presence in the first act, Sindhu's later emotional breakdown and the thrust for vengeance would lack narrative weight. Chopsticks deception. Chopstick, the comedic catalyst. Ranvir Shorey plays Chopstick, a fasting, talking, deceptive con artist based in Delhi. Act as the translator and intermediary between the desperate Chinese villagers and the clueless Sindhu. Pure monetary greed. He manipulates the language barrier to exploit both parties for personal finance gain. Every classic comedy of error needs an opportunistic instigator, and that is Ranvir Shorey's character, Chopstick. Chopstick understands both the local dialects and basic Chinese, making him the perfect bridge of deception. When Chinese villagers arrive looking for a savior, Chopstick spots an opportunity to make a quick buck. He internationally misinterprets their reverences to convince Sindhu that a luxury vacation awaits him in China, setting entire plot into motion. 15th slide. The prophecy revealed. The prophecy and the reincarnation thought. The oppressed villager of the Delhi province are looking for the reincarnation of Liu Zhang, a mythical ancient warrior. The bizarre localized cosmic coincidence convinces the villagers that Sindhu is a chosen one. The masala element merging traditional Chinese martial art mysticism with the classical Bollywood trope of the past lives and predestined duty. Speaker note on slide 15 we examine the inciting incident, the revelation of the prophecy. The film utilizes a standard wuxia trope and the return of legendary warrior to save a village. However, the film subverts this by making the identification completely accidental. The villagers are looking for cosmic sign, and through pure slapstick coincidence, Sindhu fits the description perfectly. They set up the central dramatic irony. The audience and the foemen know Sindhu is fraud, while desperate villagers view him as a literal god. Now we should have to erase this. Guys, this is not a full movie channel. This is only a movie review channel. If you want to see the whole movie, then you can go with Netflix and another movie apps on which the movie will release from the box office. Now we are on a 16th slide. Chandni chowk setting scene. Slide heading setting scenes Chandni chowk. Cinematographic profile, visual tone warm, oversaturated color grading featuring deep ambers, yellow and rustic reds, spatial framing, claustrophobic, narrow, hyper crowded alleys of old Delhi to emphasize Sindhu's feeling of being trapped in his current life. Culture auditory landscape, loud overlapping ambient noise, street vendor crisis and fast paced colloquial Hindi dialogue. Speaker note the visual setting of the film. First half deserved technical study. Director of photography Himen Dhamiza deliberately frames Chandni Chowk as a chaotic, beautiful yet claustrophobic labyrinth. The narrow lane and packed frames visual communicate Sindhu's socio-economic confinement. He is physically trapped by his environment, which explains his desperate desire to grab onto any flying ticket out of his reality, no matter how absurd it sounds. Now we are on 17th slide. The inciting incident, the departure. Plot milestone. Dada discovers Sindhu's plan to run away to China based on a fraud prophecy and heavily admonishes him. Driven by a vision of unearned wealth and a luxurious lifestyle, Sindhu ignored his father's warning. Sindhu chopstick and the villagers board and the flight of China, marking the formal end of the first narrative block.
और लाओ ए पीला और
The inciting incident concludes with a harsh ideological clash. Dada catches Sindhu trying to leave based on lies and tells him that shortcut leads to ruin, but Sindhu, blind by promise of being treated like royalty, defies his father. This moment marks the formal exits from the homeland. It transitions the movie from a localized Delhi street comedy into a high-stake international travel adventure, shifting the entire visual canvas of the film. Narrative metaphor of the potato. Symbolic analyze the object. Uniquely shaped potato that Sindhu cut, which resembles a multi-armed diamond deity. Interpretation: Sindhu views this vegetable as a literal cosmic confirmation of his special destiny. Irony: it highlights how the protagonist finds profound cosmic meaning in the most mundane, disposable kitchen items due to his desperation. Slide 18. Look at a small but crucial piece of symbolism in the screenplay, the potato. While chopping vegetables, Sindhu finds a potato that vaguely resembles a divine figure to rational mind. It lunged to Sindhu. It is a definitive message from the universe proving his greatness. This recurring visual gag serves as a perfect metaphor for his character. He looks for miracle in the garbage rather than realizing that the true tools for his success in the very knife he holds in his hand. Leaving the homeland. Slide heading. Tonal transition and leaving the homeland. Cinematic shift. The geographic jump, moving from the historical ancient market of India directly into the ultra-modern historical landscape of China. Pacing acceleration. The comedy shift from dialogue-driven wit to a rapid physical slapstick movement. The genre mutation. The film officially morphs from the domestic Bollywood comedy into transitional action adventure hybrid. As we leave the homeland in slide 19, notice the sharp tonal shift. The film accelerates significantly here. The filmmaker stops relying on witty localized Delhi dialogue because the characters are entering an environment where they cannot speak the language. The movie must now rely entirely on physical comedy, visual storytelling, and massive scale change to keep the audience engaged as the international journey begins. Arrival in China. Arrival in China, the culture clash. Color platy show. Sudden shift from the warm, chaotic amber of Delhi to cold, expensive slate, grey, deep blues, structural reds, wide angle, panoramic shots, replacing the tight close up framing used in the Indian slums. The immediate misunderstanding. Sindhu arrives expecting a luxury royal vacation but is immediately surrounded by a black, oppressed population looking for a military savior. We wrap up Act 2 with the slide 20. Arrival in China. The visual transition is immediate and zaring. The color palette turns colder, cleaner, and massive in scale. The wide angle lenses showcase sweeping Chinese landscapes, immediately making Sindhu look tiny and vulnerable. He steps off the plane, expecting places gold and endless food, completely unaware that he has just walked straight into a violent, high stakes military dictatorship ruled by ruthless warlord. The Chinese conflict and rising actions. Slide 21. Divider slide. Complication and clashing factions in China. The intersection of tyranny, false identities, lethal consequences, high contrast, graphing features featuring Hozo's cold industrial fortress juxtaposed with the silhouette of dual female fighters. Sectional core theme. The structural setup of cinematic dictatorship, the introduction of brainwashed assassin versus tradition seeker, the tragic turner point and structural collapse of comic heroes. As we enter Act 3, slide 21 through 30, the narrative leaves behind the light-hearted comedy of errors. The story plunges directly into a dangerous, dark, and politically oppressive landscape. Here we analyze how the screenwriter established a legitimate sense of threat. Sindhu's foolish choice catch up with him, turning a harmless scam into a deadly struggle for survival. We will examine the introduction of the primary antagonist, the dual subplot of the female lead, the tragic midpoint event that fundamentally changed the genre of the film. The alter ego Meow Meow Susie. The alter ego Meow Meow Susie. Deepika Padukone second character, a lethal, emotionless, leather-clad assassin under Huzo's total control. The psychological state. The brain washed through manipulated memories, believing her true family is her worst enemy. Cinematic homage, a director note to classic Hong Kong action heroine and the modern anime inspired Western assassins. Speaker notes on a slide 23. We dissect Deepika Padukone's second role, Susie, codenamed Meow Meow. This character served as Yuzo's personal weapon. She has been systematically brainwashed to forget her past and her Indian heritage, acting as a cold assassin. Her character design is a direct visual contribute to the sleek, hyper stylized action heroines of Hong Kong cinema. She provides a sharp contrast to the clumsy, loud comedy of Sindhu, injecting genuine kinetic threat into action scene. The look-alike Sakni's independent quest. Character matrix. The persona Deepika Padukone's original character, a commercial model from India seeking her lost family. The motive driven by personal quest to find her missing father and long lost twin sister in rural China. Narrative function connects the Indian emotional core to Chinese landscape, eventually crossing paths with the Sindhu to force the plot lines together. Speaker notes slide 24 tracks the parallel storyline of Sakni, the other twin, while Sindhu is in China for money and luck. Sakni is there on a deep emotional journey to trace her family root. This dynamic is classic Bollywood lost and found trope straight out of 1970s cinema. Her plotline runs parallel to Sindhu's until they inevitably collide, providing the emotional motivation. Sindhu needs to step out of his selfish mindset and look at the larger tragedy around him. The comedy of error. The comedy of errors and language barriers. Narrative mechanism. The dialogue gaps. Sindhu used local Indian street slang while the villagers speak traditional Chinese dialects. The translator manipulates chopstick internationally altered translations to keep Sindhu claim and keep the money flowing. Structural flow. This extended misunderstanding stretch the audience suspension of disbelief to its absolute limits. Speaker notes slide 25 look at mechanics of the comedy of errors that dominates the early part of Act 3. Sindhu genuinely believes he is staying at a high-end luxury resort where the local treat him like a king as a part of hospitality gimmick. In reality, they are presenting him with weapons to go fight a war. Chopstick manipulates every single conversation to keep this illusion alive. While it generates some funny slapstick moment, critics noted that this sequence goes on too long, testing the audience patience. The first encounter, accidental survival, plot milestones, the confrontation, Huzo's enforcer attack the village temple to crush the rumors of the returned warrior. The fight mechanics, Sindhu survives the encounter entirely through accidental movement, blind luck, and frantic escaping. The narrative consequences, the villagers view his clumsy survival as a brilliant, unorthodox fighting style, reinforcing their false belief in the prophecy. Speaker notes, in slide 26, we see Sindhu's first true test. Huzo sends men to eliminate this supposed savior. Sindhu has no idea how to fight, so his survival is pure, unadulterated luck. He trips, drop object, run away, and accidentally knock out opponent while trying to save his own skin. This is a classical Jackie Chan style physical comedy. However, because it looks so bizarre, the villagers interpret his cowardice as the unpredictable genius of the master warrior, looking him deeper into the false identity. Guys, this is not a full movie channel, it's only a movie review channel. If you want to see the whole movie, then you can go with Netflix and another movie apps on which the movie is released from the box office. This is only for review and only for your entertainment. The turning point, Dada's death. The turning point, the death of Dada. Plot milestones, the sudden arrival. Dada travels all the way to China to confront Sindhu and bring him back to his senses. The execution also arrives in person, exposes Sindhu's total lack of skill, and brutally murder Dada in front of him. The tonal crash, the film instantly drop all comedic element, pivoting into dark, classic revenge melodrama. Speaker notes, slide 27 brings us to the midpoint, turning point, which completely alters the movie tone. Dada arrives in China to pull his son away from this dangerous life, but it is too late. Ozo arrives, stab through Sindhu's defense effortlessly and kills Dada's right before Sindhu's eyes. This is brutal, shocking shift. The laughter stops completely. The film throws away its comedic safety net and forces the protagonist to face the real lethal consequences of his laziness and greed. अब नहीं बना रहा, अब खत्म बस कहानी। 60 तक बनाना।
1 घंटा बनाना है 7 बजे तक।
Sindhu's devastation, slide heading Sindhu's devastation and psychological crash. Narrative analysis, the guilt. Sindhu realized his father died because of his own stubborn reliances on luck, shortcut, and scams. The loss of identity stripped of his ego, his money, his luck. He is reduced to a broken, weeping child. His performance shift. Akshay Kumar drops his hyper-expressive comic face, shifting into raw, heavy emotional, dramatic acting. Speaker note. On sliding 28, we examine the aftermath of tragedy. Sindhu is utterly destroyed. The emotional weight here is heavy. He has to sit it with the crushing realization that his father's warnings were completely right. His reliance on shortcut didn't make him a king. It got his father killed. Akshay Kumar's performance here changes completely. He stops being the cloud cartoon character and portrays a deeply broken, grief-stricken man who has lost everything. The truth unveiled, a helpless fraud. The narrative element, the village realization, the Chinese villagers realize Sindhu is not a legendary Liu भैया को दिया reincarnation. He is just an ordinary cowardly cook. The isolation, chopstick, runaway, the villagers abandon him in disappointment, and Sindhu is left completely alone in foreign land. The symbolic rock bottom. The hero is physically beaten. Emotionally hollow out and cast aside like trash. Speaker note, slide 29 highlight the collapse of central life. The illusion is shattered. The villagers see the Sindhu cannot fight. Save them. He is merely flawed. And the adoration turns to bitter disappointment. They turn their back on him. Sindhu is left completely isolated in rural China, unable to speak the language, without money and carrying the ghost of his father. This is the absolute rock bottom of the hero's journey. Exiled and broken, end of the rising action, visual analysis framing, Sindhu crawling through the mud, framed against a massive, indifferent winter landscape. Tonal summary, complete elimination of color saturation, the visuals match his internal state of desolation. The narrative setup sets the stage for a complete rebuild of the character, paving the way for the classic training arc in Act 4. We close Act 3 with slide 30. The rising action ends on the bleak note. Sindhu is cast out, physically broken and spiritually empty, crawling through the dirt. The fast-paced, colorful fun of old Delhi feels like a distant memory. This structural choice is necessary for a true martial art film. The hero must be completely dismantled before he can be rebuilt. It sets the perfect high-stake baseline for legendary training arc that will occupy our next section. The training arc and technical mastery, slide 40. Divider slide, the classical martial art transformation, rebuilding the protagonist through discipline, philosophy, practical mastery, visual anchor, high contrast graphic of Shilyute performing a martial arts stance against a giant rising red sun. Section 4 theme, the transition from lazy superstition to physical discipline, the weaponization of mundane daily labor skill, technical and practical analysis of Hong Kong wire work and stunts. Speaker notes. We are now enter Act 4, covering slide 31 through 40. This is the structural heart of any martial art film, the training arc. After hitting absolute rock bottom at the end of the previous act, Sindhu must undergo a radical physical and psychological transformation. In this section, we analyze how the film moves away from Hollywood tropes and fully embraces classic Chinese wuxia tradition. We will examine the philosophy of Kung Fu introduced by his new mentor, how his vegetable chopping skills are converted into combat tools, and the technical work that went into shooting these iconic training sequences on the Great Wall of China. Slide heading 32. Enter Inspector Chaizen. Enter Inspector Chang, the mysterious mentor. The mentor played by martial art veteran actor, Hollywood stunt coordinator Roger Yuan. The shared grief. The Chiang is disgraced former layman who also lost his family to Hozo's cruelty. The narrative role act as the catalyst for Sindhu's resurrection. He provided the tough love and strict guidance Sindhu never accepted from Dada. Slide 32 introduces the mentor character Inspector Chiang, played by Roger Yuan. Chiang is a classic broken master found in traditional Kung Fu cinema. He isn't a magical mystic, he is a bitter, disciplined former police officer who wants justice just as badly as Sindhu wants revenge. By sharing a common enemy in Huzo, Chiang and Sindhu form a deep slime bond. Chiang becomes the strict, uncompromising father figure Sindhu desperately needs to pull him out of his self-pity. Next, slide 33. Philosophy of Kung Fu. The philosophy of Kung Fu. Mind over luck. Ideological shift. The lesson: true power comes from sweat, focus, repeating basic movements thousands of times, not from lottery tickets or luck. The mental reset, breaking Sindhu's psychological reliance on science, stars, and astrologers. The definition, redefining Kung Fu for the Bollywood audience as supreme mastery achieved through hard work over time. Speaker note: on slide 33, we look at the psychological shift during training. Chiang forced Sindhu to unlearn his entire life philosophy. For decades, Sindhu believed success was a lottery ticket waiting to be drawn. Chiang teaches him that Kung Fu literally translates to hard work over time. There are no shortcuts, no lucky potatoes, and no magical prophecies. The narrative highlights that the human body and mind are the only true tools a person has to control their own destiny. 34. Vegetable cutting technique. Weaponizing daily labor, the vegetable technique. Narrative machine. The realization Chiang noticed Sindhu's incredible hand speed and muscle memory developed from year of chopping vegetables in Delhi. The conversion translating the repetitive boring motion of kitchen knife into lethal rapid fire defensive hand strike. The thematic resolution Sindhu's ultimate weapon is not a magical kung fu style but very job but the very job he used to hate, look down on. Speaker note slide 34 highlight a brilliant screenwriting choice, the weaponizing of daily labor. Sindhu spent his whole fire hating his job as a vegetable cutter, viewing it as a dead end chore. However, Master Chiang realized that chopping thousands of vegetables for a year has given Sindhu incredible hand speed, forearm strength, precise muscle memory by refining these exact movements into block strike. Chiang turns Sindhu's mundane kitchen skill into a lethal fighting style. It sends a powerful message. Your true strength lies in the honest work you have already done. The Great Wall montage, the Great Wall of China montage, cinematographic analyzed the scale film on location at Great Wall using sweeping helicopter and wide-angle panoramic shots. Visual metaphor: the massive, unending wall represents the steep uphill battle Sindhu faces to climb out of his weakness. The seasonal transition using visual cues like snow melting into spring to represent the long month of grueling physical changes. Speaker notes: no martial art film is complete without a sweeping training montage. And slide 35 breaking down the visual mastery of this sequence shot on location at the Great Wall of China. The cinematography uses massive scale to frame Sindhu's journey. He is shown running up thousands of steps, balancing on narrow ledges and training in freezing snow. The changing weather serve as visual metaphor for the time passing, showing the audience that his transformation wasn't instant. It was earned through months of isolation and pain. '73 4 खमनी बनाऊँ मैं तो 1 घंटा की। 7 बजने में 15 मिनट है। Action choreography overview. Action choreography. The Didi who influences. Technical profiles. The master stunt designed by veteran Hong Kong action choreographer Huang Chi Ku Didi Ku, known for Kill Bill, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. The style hybrid merging fast rhythmic Hong Kong rhythm fighting with Akshay Kumar's heavy explosive Muay Thai kicking style. The goal, creating actions that looked authentic to martial art fans while keeping the high energy entertainment value for Indian mass audiences. Speaker notes. The slide 36 dives into the technical layout of action choreographed by veteran legend Didi Ku, who brought decades of Hong Kong experiences to the sets of Bollywood. He didn't try to make Akshay Kumar fight exactly like a traditional Shaolin monk. Instead, he blended Kumar's real-life background in Muay Thai, which features heavy knees and power kicks, with the fluid, lightning fast hand combination of Chinese martial art. This hybrid style gave the film's combat sequence a unique and highly energetic rhythm. Wire work and VFX integration. Technical framework, wire work, VFX. Production analyze, Hong Kong tradition. Heavy use of traditional mechanical wire rigs to allow actor to glide, run up walls, perform exaggerated aerial flips. The digital balance using clean visual effect to erase the safety wires and enhance impact of high altitude falls. Physical execution, Akshay Kumar performs almost all of his own complex wire stunt without relying on professional double. Speaker notes. On slide 37, we examine the production's use of wire work and visual effect. The filmmaker brought in specialized stunt crews from China to set up complex pulley and wire system. This allowed the actor to perform classic wuxia gravity-defying maneuvers, balancing this traditional practical stunt work with modern digital wire. Removal required precise coordination between the camera teams and the VFX department. Akshay Kumar's personal physical fitness was a massive asset here, as wire work requires intense core strength to look smooth on camera. Slide custom design transformation. Visual evaluation, costume design, chance. Visual elements, the Indian face, ragged, bright, poetic straight cloth, emphasizing his initial identity as a clueless, messy tourist. The training phase, simple grey, Mediterranean cotton robes representing humility, discipline, and a white state. The final warrior phase, traditional structured Chinese warrior robes paired with subtle Indian accents, visually finalizing the cross-culture hybrid hero. Speaker notes, slide 38 traces the character's journey through costume design. Clothing is used as powerful visual tool to show character growth. Sindhu start the movie is in messy, overlay, colorful street cloth that scream tourist. During training, he wears plain, faded cotton robes that show he has stripped away his ego. But the end of his act, he put on structured warrior robes that signal he is physically and mentally ready for war. The cloth reflects his inner transformation from a sloppy cook to focused protector. The rebirth of the warrior. Slide hiding. Rebirth of the warrior, the final test. The narrative milestone, the graduation. Sindhu successfully blocks and countermasters Xiang's fastest attack, providing his training is complete. The psychological change, his eyes are focused, his body language is steady, and the frantic, goofy facial expression are gone. The protagonist has successfully transitioned from a fraudulent chosen one into an actual legitimate warrior capable of changing the world around him. Speaker note, slide 39 shows the final graduation moment of the training arc. Sindhu faces his master in a final sparring session and successfully counters every strike. The transformation is complete. The physical change is obvious, but the psychological change is what matters most. The nervous laughter and cowardly flinching are gone. His stance is solid, his gaze is icy. He is finally ready to step back into the world to fix the mess his lies created. The call to arms. The call to arms, preparing for war. Lord milestone, the return. Sindhu and Chiang return to oppressed Jili village, not as good as gods or might, but as allies. The mobilization inspiring the broken villager to stand up and fight alongside them against Hujo's army. The climax launch. The slide wrap up act by setting the stage for the massive multi-tiered assaulted on the villains' palaces. We conclude Act 4 with slide 40, the call to arms. Sindhu returned to the people he let down. This time he doesn't pretend to be a reincarnation of an old legend. He stands before them as a real man willing to bleed for their freedom. His new confidence inspires the terrified villagers to pick up the tools and form a rebellion. This set up the high stakes narrative explosive launch into our next section, which will cover the grand cinematic climax and final battles. Climax resolution music, the act revive, act slide, the act final battle and narrative conclusion, resolving blood feuds, reconnecting families, and the symphony of masala soundscapes, high contrast graphic of shattered places floor, showcasing a dynamic standoff, slyuti between a staff, building hero and a dual blade villain. Section 4 theme structure layout of multi-tiered martial art climax, the emotional play of the lost and found families of plot. Social, cultural, and rhythmic analysis of the film's outbox. We now enter Act 5, which encompasses slide 41 through 50. Section covers the grand finale of the film, the storming of Uzo's stronghold, the resolution of our character emotional arcs, analytic breakdown, the movie's soundtrack. A Bollywood style climax must deliver two things simultaneously: high stakes, physical action, and intense emotional resolution. We will study how director Nikhil Advani structured the final showdown slide, the villain plays, how the double role subplot of the twin sister conclude, how the music as narrative engine.
कितने स्लाइड है
41. Infiltrating Huzo's place climax structure, a sloping, heavily crowded traditional fortress symbolizing Huzo's absolute grip on power. Sindhu Master Xiang and the United Blazer launch a coordinate multi-front attack. The action is structured like a video game classic kung fu movie, forcing the heroes to defeat waves of low-level henchmen to reach the boss. Speaker notes slide 42 break down the setting of our grand finale, Huzo's fortress. The infiltration is structured exactly like a classic Shaw Brothers kung fu movie. The heroes cannot just walk into the throne room. They must fight their way through layers of defenses. This allows the choreography team to showcase different style of actions, movie from wide-scale brawl sequence in the outer courtyard to tight vertical hallway combat as they climb deeper into the belly of the beast. The sisterly Renwan emotional payoff. Shakni Suzy Meow Meow face off in a highly stylized, emotionally charged short duel. During the fight, Shakni managed to trigger Suzy's deeply buried childhood memories, breaking Huzo's psychological brainwashing. The two long lost twin sisters unite, turning their weapon against the common oppressor Hugo. On slide 43, we examine the resolution of Deepika Padukone's double role subplot. Up until this point, Susie has been a weapon of billion, completely unaware of her true identity when she duels her twin sister Sakni. The physical conflict turned into an emotional breakthrough. The breaking of the brainwashing satisfied the classical Bollywood separate at birth. Emotional payoff, twin sister unified, transforming a story about isolated victim into collective family rebellion against Chandni. Sindhu vs. Huzo Phase 1. Sindhu vs. Huzo Phase 1. The comedic residue. The initial Sindhu phase. Huzo in the main courtyard under the watchful eyes. The liberated villagers. The fight begins with a mix of high-level, lingering physical comedy. The Sindhu uses his old, erratic, unpredictable movements to confuse Huzo, throwing his disciplined villain off billions of his rhythm. Slide 44 covers the first phase of the ultimate showdown. The filmmakers knew completely removing Sindhu's comic roots. We alienate the audience. Therefore, phase 1 of the fight blinds top tier stunt with the physical comedy. Sindhu used unorthodox movement, remained his clumsy past Yuzo by breaking the traditional rules. Martial art duels managed to turn his lack of formal style into an erratic advantage, catching the overly disciplined warlord completely off guard. अब नहीं बने भैया 7 बज गए 7:90 की बना दे नहीं बने अब मोबाइल नहीं बने मैं मोड़ा तुमको मैं तो नहीं पढ़ रहा हूँ ले बैठ ले नहीं मोबाइल तो नहीं बने
कौन नहीं कर रही 45 स्लाइड है स्लाइड 45 Sindhu versus Hojo's phase 2. Letting Street survives my sister's back to his duty, and I am taking this script for movie reviewing today. Side heading Sindhu versus Hojo phase 2. Pure martial arts. Slide mechanic. The serious shift. Hojo shared his weapon and useless his full lethal material arts. Magistrate severely wonders Sidhu. Applied training. Sidhu stopped joking and relies entirely on the rapid fire hands. Block and strike thoughts by master change. The climax execution. Utilization his signature vegetable copying hands pressed to deliver a flurry of precise defense and offense strikes. In slide 45, the comedy disappears for good. Hojo becomes deadly serious, pushing Sidhu to his absolute limits. This phase showcases pure clean martial arts choreography without any safety nets. Sidhu has rarely 100% on the guideline discipline he built on Great Wall. This scene plays off the vertical cuttles training arcs as Sidhu uses his rapid hand copying motion to bypass Hojo's defense. It is a movement of pure physical dedications of the characters. So our 45 slides should be completed. We are going for the 46 slide. Just wait and watch our content. Here our 46 slide should be the villain's defeat. Slide heading the villain's defeats and political justice. Narrative resolution: the final strike. Sidhu delivers a decisive, high-flying knockout strike that permanently neutralizes Hojo's threat. The poetic justice: the villain is defeated not just by a strong warrior, but by the collective spirit of the village he oppressed and the sons of the men he murdered. The liberation: the fall of Hojos marks the immediate liberation of the Zili province, validating the ancient prophet through hard work rather than magic. Speak notice: slide 46 shows the ultimate defeats of Hojo. The narrative delivers clear poetic justice. Hojo is brought down in front of the very villagers he terrorized for years by refusing to show mercy to the tyrant. The film satisfies the classic action cinema demands for absolute losers. Sidhu does not just win a fight, he breaks an empire. The prophecy of Lulu Shed is fulfilled, but with a twist. Sidhu becomes the Savior not because it was writing the stars, but because he chose the blades of the cause. Here our 46 slides should be completed. We are going for the 47 slide. The returns of Chandni chowk. Slide heading: closing the arc. The returns home. Narrative resolution: the homeward journey. Homemade journey. Just give me 2 second break. Homemade journey. Sidhu returns to the narrow, warm-toned lane of old Delhi, accompanied by his retained entire family. The internal transformation: he returns to his old vertebral staff, but he is not longer lazy or seeking lottery tickets. The new physiology: he embraces his daily works with pride, dignity, and a deep understanding that honest labors are the highest form of kung fu. Slide 47 bring our story full circles with the returns to Chandni Chowk. The visual color palette shifts back to the warm golden members of Delhi. However, while the environment is the same, the protagonist is entirely transformed. Sidhu goes back to his vegetable stall, but the laziness is going. He treats his daily works with immense pride. The narrative concludes its news message: you do not need to travel to China or find a miracle prophecy to be hero. Mastering honest daily works is the ultimate goal. Here our 47 slides should be completed. We are going for the 48 slides, so just a wait, and our 48 slides should be starting from a soundtrack analysis. Soundtrack analysis, collaboration, audio, music profiles. The composition terms are unique multi-compressor soundtracks, fracturing, snacker, essay, and then acilogy, Bapi Lihari, and Punjabi milk. Just give me 2 minutes of break. Just Just give me 2 seconds. Just give me 1 second, please. The correct composition term. The sonic. Just give me 1 second, please. Just give me 2 minutes. Please pause it. Sorry for interrupting. So here we go. Just sorry for misleading. Just give me a music profile. The composition terms are unique multi-compressor soundtracks features Sankara, Easily Law, Alish K, Bappi Lihari and Punjabi Make. The sonic hybrid, blending traditional Indian dhol beats and Bollywood melodies with East Asian flats, pentatonic scales, and modern hip hop. The narrative functions. The music serves as an emotional guide, smoothing over the epic tonal jumps between comedy, tragedy, and narrative action. On 48th slide, we shift our analytical lens to the film's soundtracks. True to its crossover natures, the music was a massive collaboration between multiple top tiers India composers. The sonic landscapes is incredibly experimental. Its activity simple traditional Chinese strings, instruments and flutes, layering them over heavy Punjabi dhol beats and modern hip hop rhythms. The soundtracks acts as an emotional glue, helping the audience transition through the movie's rapid changes in tone. So here we go, our 49 slide, our 40 slide should be complete. Hit song Safar. Hit song study Safar the journey. टोन की बात करें तो द सोलफुल मेलोडियस कंपोजिशन रिटन बाय शंकर Ihsan Loy and sung beautifully by Nilandri Kumar. The lyricism focus on them of displacement, vending and searching for internal meaning in a stranger's foreign land. The visual placement usually over sweeping landscape transition to ground Sidhu's growing loneliness and emotional maturity after his arrival in China. Slide 49 deep dives into the tracks suffers, which means the journey, unlike the loud commercial tracks in the film, Safar is deeply soulful, melancholic melody. It plays during a period of transition when Sidhu begins to realize the gravity of his situation. The lyrics speaks about wandering and finding oneself in foreign lands. It serves as a vital musical breathing rooms, slowing down the chaotic pace of the movie to highlight the protagonist's growing internal maturity. Our 14 slides should be completed. We are in the 50 slides. The little track breakdowns, क्रॉस क्रटल रैप्स। कंपोजिशंस की बात करें तो द फॉर्मुलेट एज अ हाई एनर्जी एंथेमिक स्टाइल ट्रैकिंग फ्यूचरिस्टिक फास्ट प्लेस्ड रैप्स verses performed by Akshay Kumar himself and Bhumia. The cultural fusion, heavy straight smashed desi rap mixed with him tempo, electronic beats and traditional Chinese fusion motif is in the music video. The commercial impact served as the primary marketing weapons for the films, dominating radio charts and stabilizing the movie high octane public persona. We wrap up Act 5 with slide 50. The little track. This song was the spearhead of movie's entire marketing campaign, featuring authentic Desi rap and Bhumi alongside vocal words by Akshay Kumar. The track is a highly energy anthem. It perfectly encapsulates the film's bold attitudes by mixing stress, smarts, Hindi lyrics with aggressive urban hip-hop beats and Chinese musical instrument. This track becomes a massive radio hit, cemented the movie status as a loud, unapologetic culture pop experiment. Act 60 critical expansion box office and legacy. Slide 51 से 60 के बीच में ये स्लाइड करेंगे. There are last 10 slides are left. 51 Act 6 direct slide. Slide Act 6 global response and lasting cinematic legacy. सब हेडिंग करेंगे deconstructing the commercial latest critical critiques and historic industry impact. Visual anchors, modern analytical charts, graphic contrasting growth distribution reaches against domestic critical box office drops. Selection core themes strategical analytics of international commercial performance. Casting of a dominating versus western critical viewpoint. This film's pioneering influence on future global co-production. Speaker notice. We enter our final book of the presentation covering slides 51 to 60. This acts moving away from the narrative text of Chandni, chowk to China and looks objectively at its real world, performing critical receptions and lasting legacy. While the movie was an incredible creative and cooperative game, its release was meant significant challenges. We will dissect the raw box office numbers, look at why both Indian and Western critics had mixed reactions, analyze its structural flaws, and ultimately evaluate its historic position as a followed but highly important industry pioneer. Here our 15 slides will be completed. We are at 10 slides are left. 9 slides are to be left for our final movie explanation. So our 52 slides of the box office reality. The box office reality commercial failure की बात करें. This budget है essential at a massive 80 crore, approximately $15 to $16 USD millions 2009, making it one of the most expensive films of its time. The opening enjoys a massive record-breaking opening day due to aggressive rating and Akshay Kumar's star power. The collapsing suffered as a catastrophic second week, critical drops of over 70% due to negative word of mouth, failing to recover its production cost. Speaker notes. Slide 52 addresses the hard financial reality. Chandni, Chowk to China was a major box office failure. back in 2009, and 80% budget was astronomical for Bollywood. The film actually opening incredible because the public was curious and the marketing champions was brilliant. However, once audience saw the film negative, word of mouth spread intensely. The box office numbers collapsed quickly in a second week. It failed to lead even domestically, leaving Bros and its Indian partners with significant financial losses. Here our 52 slides should be completed. We are going for the 53 slides of our movie explanation. So 53 slides Indian critical response. The Indian response rejections of the total shifts. Loud comedy. The local criticized heavily targeted the first half, calling the comedy loud, exhausting, and overly repetitive. The melodrama clash. Mainstreams and Indian views felt that the sudden jump from absurd stress gags to brutal murders was too jarring for families. The script wrote, criticized noted that despite some massive budgets and beautiful Chinese backdrops, the film suffered from a lazy, predictable script. On slide 53, we looking at Indian critical response. Domestic critics will not not kind to the film. They felt that directors Nikhil Advani tries to do too many things at once. The first half was criticized for relying on loud, outdated slapstick humor, while the second half felt like an entirely different, overly serious movie. Local reviews pointed out that no amount of beautiful footage shot on the Great Wall of China could save a major that lacked a tight, cohesive script. Here our 53 slides should be completed. We are going for the 54 slide. Our 54 slide, the Western critical response, Western viewpoints and exotic hybrid, the generic shock the Western cities, including outlets like the New York Times and Varieties, was fascinated yet baffled by the length and sudden song numbers. Paris for stunts. Many international reviewers praised the high quality fireworks and action sequence designed by D.D. Coop. The stereotypes critique some Western outlets criticized the films for relying heavily on surface level, cartoonish cultural stereotypes of China. Speaking notice slide 52 highlights how the film was received outside of India. Western film critics viewed it as a fascinated curiosity. They was not used to the masala format where a movie switched from an intense material arts battle directly into a colorful 5-minute song and dance sequence. While international critical deeply appreciated the authentic Hong, Hong Kong style action cinematography, the ultimate dismissed the film as a overload, forgetting and structurally messy for main, mainstream global audience. Here our 54 slide should be completed. We are going for the 55 slide. The pacing problem. Slide heading technical critique the pacing problems. Length की बात करेंगे at nearly 160 minutes. 160 the movie runs longer than standard global action comedy while एवरेज 90 to 100 मिनट्स लेते हैं, लेकिन ये 2 घंटे और 40 मिनट. The bloated subplots. Too much runtime was dedicated to the separate tense subplots and repetitive comedic misunderstanding in the template. The editing failures. A tighter, more aggressive edit could have saved the movie's momentum, keeping the audience locked into the training and actions. Slide 55 look at a crucial technical failure. The pacing in a global film marketing and action comedy needs to be fast and punchy. At 160 minutes, Chandni Chowk to China was simply too long and bloated. This screenwriter tries to jam a standard 90 minutes material arts movie into a massive 3-hour Bollywood family drama structure. This pressured the moments to die repeatedly, especially in the middle of the film where the comedic misunderstanding feels like they are going around in circles. Here our 57 slide sorry here our 55 slide should be completed. We are going for the 56 slide. So 56 slide are cultural stereotypes. Socio-political analysis, stereotypes, cul- cultural critique, critique, the superficial proto-portrayal. The film frequently released and simplified clicks visual gags regarding Chinese cultures, food, and languages. The counterbalance on the positive side, it gives immense respect to Chinese material arts, feature philosophy, and features legitimate Chinese leads like Golden Liu. The massive opportunity instead of deep knowledge culture exchange, the films often treated its international setting merely as an exotic background or Bollywood gaps. Speaker notes. On slide 56, we look at the cultural aspects of this crossover. While the film was historic, it missed an opportunity for a truly nosed cross-cultural exchange. It's frequently learns on lazy surface level stereotypes about language and culture for cheap laughs in first half. However, it balances this out in the second half by treating Kung Fu physiology with genius respect. It remains a polarizing example of how Bollywood handles international locations and foreign cultures. Here our 56 slides should be completed. We are going to the 57 slides. Akshay Kumar stunt legacy. Akshay Kumar accentuated trajectory the physical milestone. The film cemented his reputation as the only true Clady of Bollywood capable of performing world-class authentic action. The professional evolution working of Hong Kong stunt teams elevated Kumar's personal approach to safety, wire, works and fight choreography. The turn point, despite the commercial failure, the film provides that an Indian lead actor could look completely behavioral, standing face to face against global material arts legends. Slide 57 illustrates the impacts of these films on Akshay Kumar careers. Even though the movie lost movie, it did wonders for his legacy as an action star. He proves to the entire industry that he did not need stunt double or heavy editing tricks to look like a real material arts. His dedication to train with the Hong Kong Creative Evolution, his physical skills and set up brand new standards for how action scenes were shot in my mainstream Indian cinema. Here our 57 slides should be completed. There are 3 slides are left. 58, 59 and 60. Your 58 slides should be started. This slide should be Deepika Padukone career trajectory. की बात करें दीपिका पादुकोण परफॉर्मेंस एवोल्यूशन अर्ली visibility releases early in her career, just 2 years after her debut in Om Shanti Om, proving she could handle intense physical damages. The dual portfolio showcased her ability to play both a traditional emotional Indian characters and a sleek modern international action heroine. The launchpad, the film acted as a major stepping stone, proving her star equality could encouraging a massive multi-million-dollar global production. Speak notes. On slide 58, we focus on Deepika Padukone. This was only her third major film, yet she was handled the massive responsibility of playing a double role in an international production. The film's failures did not hurt her career. Instead, it proves her incredible versatility. It shows the industry that she was not just a glamorous face. She was an athletic performance who could match the physical energy of a Western action. Western action. She was athletic performance who could match the physical energy of a Western action star like Akshay Kumar. Hey! Lesson Lessons of failure cross culture film. Slide heading the blueprint lessons for failure cinema. Script first, canvas second. A massive international budget cannot compensate for weak, structurally flawed story. Tony Harmony to global crossover required a seamless blend of genres rather than sharp shifts between road. नहीं मान रहा